Hi guys, I'm back. Same day for me, another day for you. So today we're starting a new chapter. That would be chapter 5, demands and consumer behavior. So in this chapter, we're gonna add a new concept. We studied elasticity that shows us a bit the shape of the demand. Now we're gonna continue with another concept, which is utility, that also shapes our demand, okay? So, consumer behavior. Why do consumers buy the things they do? That's what we're going to study today. Why? Are you going to buy something you don't like? Absolutely not. You only buy the things that you like or you need. Okay? So, that's utility. So, today we're going to see the choices and utility theory. So, definition of utility. It's a weird word, but it's very simple. It's the degree of, I'm going to read it, then I'm going to explain it. Okay, utility refers to how consumers rank different goods and services. Okay, how do you rank them? Example, how do I rank this? Do I prefer this one, then this one, or this one, then this one? I personally prefer this one. This is better than this one. This one is plastic. I kill all the plants I have in my house, so I only buy plastic now. Okay, so this one is preferred to this one, so that's my rank. 1, then 2. Moving on. So, how you rank different goods and services. It describes a degree of satisfaction. Okay? When I consume something, I have a degree of satisfaction. I'm more gonna focus on food and drinks today because it's easier to explain with that. Okay? You consume something, you have a degree of satisfaction. You like it. Okay? That's utility. Okay, consumers' resources are scarce. We agree on that. My income is limited. So, I'm gonna try to buy the things that I like most. That brings me the maximum satisfaction, which means we try as consumers to maximize our utility. Just remember, utility is a degree of satisfaction you get out of consuming a good. Okay? I'm focusing on food and drinks, but it goes for all the goods and services. So now, utility is the degree of satisfaction, and here we're going to study marginal utility and the law of diminishing marginal utilities. Before going there, I want you to go to the table on page 85. It's table 5.1. I have it here. Okay, I'm going to try to stay here so that you see the table. Here I have a good. I'm going to take it as coffees. You know how I love coffees, okay? Coffee, but here it's many coffee cups that I'm going to drink. So, when I don't drink any coffee, I don't have any utility. I don't have any degree of satisfaction out of the consumption of coffee. No coffee. Okay. Empty, I already drank my coffee. Okay, when I drink 1 coffee, it brings me, let's say, 4 utils. The unit of utility is a util, okay? So for me, it's equivalent to 4 utils, a certain degree of satisfaction. Okay, now when I consume 2 coffees, you see me always drinking coffee. When I consume 2 of them, of course, I have more utility. I consume 2. So it goes up to 7 utils. That's my total utility for 2 cups of coffee. When I consume 3 of them, I'm consuming coffee. My total utility for 3 units is more than for 1 unit and more than for 2 units. 3 units bring me 9 utils. Okay? And then 4 units, it brings me 10 utils, even more. But hey, I'm kind of fed up of drinking coffee, okay? So the same. It doesn't really increase because I'm fed up of coffee. Okay? I drank too much already. So that's the total utility. It's the total satisfaction you get out of consuming a certain amount of the good. Okay? And the more you consume, the more utility you have, the more satisfaction you have, till you reach a stagnating point where you don't want to consume more of that good. Okay? So, rule 1, when the quantity consumed increases, the total utility you get out of consuming that amount, a certain amount, is gonna increase. Okay? So let's plot the total utility graph. Right now, we're gonna use steps, okay? Histogram. We're not gonna use curves because it's easier. So when I consume, Gaia, my dog is here. So when I consume 0, I have 0. So when I consume 1 unit, here it's total utility, I'm sorry. When here is the quantity consumed. When I consume 1 unit, I have 4 utils, okay? I'm gonna plot the graph. You have it in the book, so you can look at the book. When I consume 2 units, so I'm here, I'm having, how much? 7 units, okay? So here is my step, 7 units. That means 2 units. When I consume 3, I have 9, 7. Oh, so 4, 7, 9, and then 10, 10. So here is my 9. Sorry for my graphing skills. Okay, here it is. And then for 4, I have 10. Here it is. And for 5, I also have 10 because I'm fed up of whatever good I'm consuming. I talked about coffee, so let's keep it coffee. Here it is. It's the same amount, 10. Okay? Now, I did my total utility. Now I'm moving to the marginal utility. Okay? So first, the definition. Marginal utility is the extra utility. Remember, satisfaction. It's the extra satisfaction a consumer gets from consuming an additional unit of the good, okay, of a commodity. Okay, so here, when I consume 2 units, I have 7. When I consume 3 units, I have 9. That's for the total utility. For the marginal utility, I'm going to see for each extra unit, how much more utility did I get? Okay? Let's see. First coffee. When I consumed my first coffee, when you consume 0, 0 doesn't count. Okay? When I consume my first coffee, how much more utility did I get? From 0 to the first coffee. I got 4 utils. Here, 4. Okay. When I consumed not the total quantity of 2, but now I'm looking at my second coffee. So I drank the first one, brought me 4. Now the second one, how much did this second one get me as utility? So 2 of them got me 7, but the second one got me 3. Okay? You do this one minus this one. It got me 3, isn't it? If the first one brought me 4, 2 of them brought me 7, that means the second one brought me 3. 3 plus 4 gives me the total utility I got for 2. Okay? That's the extra, the additional satisfaction I got from consuming 1 extra unit of coffee. The second one. Okay? Now let's move to the third coffee. How much is the third coffee bringing me? It's bringing me 2 utils. Just 2. The fourth one, brings me 1. The fifth one, I'm so fed up of drinking coffee, now it brings me 0 satisfaction. I don't care for it really because I drank too much coffee. Okay, so here be careful. When you're reading the total utility, you're reading it as quantity. 1, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, and 5 units. When you're reading the marginal utility, you don't read it as a total of units. You read it as first unit, second unit, it's always 1, third unit, fourth unit, and fifth unit. So in blue, I'm going to tell you how to read this. That's for marginal utility. So that's first, that's second for marginal utility, that's third for marginal utility, that's fourth when you read the marginal utility, and that's fifth for marginal utility. You got the idea? Okay, so each one of them is for 1 unit. Now, let's see. You notice that it's decreasing. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's the law of diminishing marginal utilities. But why? Why is it decreasing? Now imagine I just came to teach you the economics and I didn't have time to drink my coffee. You do remember how I look like before drinking my coffee. How am I? Where is the coffee? Where is the coffee? Where is the coffee? So my need for coffee is so big. Okay? It's big this way, my need of coffee. Now, one student, one of you goes to pick up a coffee for me because you know me so well, and you bring me the coffee. I always pay for it. Okay, you bring me the coffee. I drink the first cup of coffee. So part of my need is already fulfilled, isn't it? So the first coffee brings me more satisfaction than the second coffee because the need for the first one was so big. Now the need for the second one is a little bit smaller because I already drank the first one, okay? So 4 for the first one, but only 3 for the second one. Now when I drink the third one, I already had enough coffee, so it brings me satisfaction, but not as much as the second one, isn't it? So here it brings me only 2. Then when I drink the fourth one, I had enough coffee, so it brings me 1. Probably just to smoke a cigarette with the coffee. Okay, the fifth one, I don't really care. Okay, so you get how the marginal utility decreases because the need, once you fulfill a part of it, it decreases. You fulfill another part, it decreases, still you don't need it anymore. You got it? Okay, so that's the law of diminishing marginal utilities. So, rule 2, when the quantity consumed increases, the marginal utility decreases. Yeah? So let's plot the graph. It's in your book too. So for the first one, it's going to be 4 utils for the first unit. For the second unit, it's going to be 3. Okay? For the third unit, it's going to be 2. For the fourth unit, it's going to be 1. And for the fifth unit, you don't really care. It's going to be 0. We just show it like this. Okay? So that's your marginal utility. This one is increasing, you see it, while this one is decreasing. Now, let's see if we can plot the marginal utility within the total utility so that you see it better. So So the first, for unit 1, it's at the same time the total quantity, which is 1, and the first unit. So they have to be equal. This one is equal to this one. So the marginal utility and the total utility are exactly the same. Now, to plot the marginal utility in the total utility curve, you look for the extra. So, for 2 units, I have 7, but for 1 unit, I only had 4. So what is the extra? It's whatever is above 4. That would be your marginal utility. And you are going to notice that it's exactly 3 utils. Here, 4 utils. Just like you have in the other graph. Okay? Now, for the third unit, my total utility is 9. Isn't it? So what is extra above 7 that I had for 2 units? It's 2 utils over here. And that's your marginal utility in green. Okay? So for 4 units, what is the extra? You just come and plot the extra from the previous one. You continue the line to see what's on top of it. It's 1 util. For the fourth one, from the 4th to the 5th, it's 0. You don't have any extra. Okay? So that's the marginal utility within the total utility so that you see the difference. Clear? So I'm going to keep the green so that you know that it's the same thing. Here you have 4, just like you have here. Here you have 3, just like you have here. 2, just like you have here. 1, and then 0. You got it? So, now what do you notice? At 2, the total utility for 2 is equal to the marginal utility of 1 plus the marginal utility of 2. You see, it makes the whole thing. The total utility of 3 is equal to the marginal utility of 1 plus the marginal utility of 2 plus the marginal utility of 3. Yeah, it makes the whole thing if you push it this way. The total utility of 4 is equal to the marginal utility of 4 plus the marginal utility of 3 plus the marginal utility of 2 plus the marginal utility of 1. So you're going to notice that the total utility at any level is equal to the sum of marginal utilities till you reach that level. Kind of weird. Let's do it. So imagine here I'm going to take sigma marginal utility. Remember, when you don't consume, you don't have any utility. So here it's not a 0, it's nothing. It's empty. So at 4, what is the total utility I have for unit 1? It's 4. So you see that total marginal utility is equal to total utility. Let's calculate. Total at 2, what is the total of the marginal utility? So it's 4 plus 3, that would be 7. It gives you the total utility at 2. Okay? Now let's see. The total utility at 3, I'm going to calculate now the total marginal utility. So it's 4 plus 3 plus 2. That would be 9. You see that it's equivalent, equal. Now, what am I doing here? I have a plus here, and here it is. Now 4 plus 3 plus 2. 4 plus 3 plus 2. So the plus goes this way. Now, at 4 units, I have 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1. It's going to give me 10. Then at 5 units, it's going to be 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 0. It's going to give me 10. So sigma marginal utility at any quantity is going to be equal to total utility. And that's the formula you have in here. You got it? Yes, I hope you did. Just remember, when you consume a certain quantity of a good, it gives you a certain amount of satisfaction that we're going to call total utility for that amount of good, of the good you consumed. But if you take that good and cut it into each unit of it brought you a certain degree of satisfaction. Each unit brought you a marginal utility. It's for each unit alone of the good. So if you eat three oranges, you have a certain total utility for 3 oranges. But if you look at what the first orange brought you as satisfaction, that's marginal utility for the first orange. The second orange, how much it brought you, that's the marginal utility for the second orange, the extra satisfaction. And then the third orange, how much it brought you, that would be the marginal utility of the third unit. If you sum up all the marginal utilities for each orange, it's going to give you the total utility for all the whole thing you have eaten, which are the whole 3 oranges you have eaten. Making sense? Okay. Now, I cannot move on before you completely understanding this and reading your chapter, because I guess you haven't had a chance to read it yet, because I've given you a quiz simulation. I understand that, but now I really need you to read your chapter, and I'm asking you please to do read Appendix 5 from page 101 to 104 and do exercise 1 and 3. Okay? Exercise 1, it's simply do it without looking at the book and without and after watching this video. It's simply asking you to really know the difference between total utility and marginal utility and the relationship between them. Okay? So watch the video, then try to do the exercise by remembering, not by reading the book. Okay? Then exercise 3, it talks about complementary goods, substitution goods, and unrelated goods. We have done this before, but now I haven't. This is an exercise where you're going to decide which goods are complementary, substitutes, or unrelated, because it's part of this chapter. What else? What else did I want to do today? So, yeah, I wanted to talk about cardinal utility and ordinal utility. Do I do it now? No, I think I'm going to do it after you read your chapter, so at least you have an idea about it. Okay, so I think it's done for today. Which day are we supposed to be now? It's supposed to be Tuesday. So for next week, I need the chapter to be read, the appendix to be read. Try to understand it. I'm going to explain it. It's hard to explain. You do have the graphs in the book to show it to you. On the board, it's going to be hard. And I want these exercises to be done. Okay? I'm going to assume it's done. Okay, guys? Love you. I hope you stay safe. Please, please, please respect the quarantine and respect the, put the mask on if you go out. Please don't go out. Don't go out. What do you need? Nothing. Your parents bring you food and water. That's all you need. Bye, guys. Love you.